is 7 p.m. The meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals is called to order at this time. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary anonymous survey that is available on the table in the back of the room. We will do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, John, will you do a roll call?
Roy? Present. Dick?
Here.
Ken? Present. Alan?
Here.
Phil?
Here. Okay, we all have a copy of the minutes from the September 6th meeting of BZA. If you've all had a chance to look through those real quick, does anybody see any changes or anything they need to make? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
And I'll abstain,
Roy?
No,
Helen.
Phil.
I'm gonna abstain.
Phil and Ken.
What?
I made the motion, yes.
Yeah, he's abstaining.
Gonna abstain from,
Roy?
Abstain.
Dick?
yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Alan?
Yes.
Phil?
Yes.
Okay, as shown on your agenda, since we have no old business, we'll jump right into new business. First one being Steve Snyder, 903 East Washington, variance for fence height.
Good evening. All right, as Alan mentioned, our first variance this evening is for Mr. Steve Snyder. His address is 903 East Washington Street. His property is an R2 and is located on a corner lot. Therefore, it does have 2 front yards. The ordinance he's seeking a variance for is number 155.001. And that would be, 155.100. And that would be for front yard fence height, no taller than 48 inches. They're seeking the variance for the front yard on the front of the house and then on the side of the house. And I will let them come up and
Yeah,
explain
but
a
you
little
might
more.
let them know that the fence is already there.
Oh, yes, and the fence is already there.
You'll state your name into the mic, please.
Steve Snyder.
Okay.
How long's this fence been up?
I put it up about a month ago, I guess.
Is there any place in your area that has this already? Has a 6-foot fence all the way around?
Yes, so there's a few of them that do.
You had complaints or anything?
No, actually, as everybody got their letters, they come over and talk to me about it, wanting to know what it was about. So it's an investment property that I own. So we're just getting ready to put it on the market. I've just been waiting on this meeting to make sure I can leave the fence. But really the biggest reason for it, it ends up being a 6-bedroom, 3-bath. The road's pretty busy there. It's got a detached garage, so we fenced to enclose the backyard. Figured whoever buys it's probably gonna have a big family or little kids, so really wanted to have the backyard separated from the street. So we just connected the house and the garage. And before this, I didn't know that that side yard would even be considered a front yard. But, so I put it up, and there's one piece in the front off to the side of the house that's 8 feet long. It just sticks off. It's kind of like landscaping piece of fence. But most of it's in what I consider to be the backyard, but it is on the side road of Davidson Street, so.
Looks like it's not up not right up on the property line, is that right?
No, it's not on the property line. I just connected straight from the house to the garage back there to create a enclosed backyard.
Was there anything there before, or was it open, or?
It was open when I bought it, but I had to move some of my posts because I hit old concrete posts that were, the neighbor told me that there used to be a fence there years ago, but it wasn't there when I bought it. I don't know how long ago
Couple
it
of
was.
thoughts. Number one, I live in that area, and I appreciate what you've done to the house. It's a tremendous improvement over what was there before. There are some other fences in the area. I think across the street, there's some fences
Yeah.
that are between 5 and 6 feet. I didn't measure them, but they're probably 5.5, 6 feet tall. So there is some other fences.
So it's not gonna be the only
No,
one in here.
his is a wooden fence, the others are white vinyl, but no.
And I really don't, I guess probably the purpose of the rule is to not block the view of the streets or something, and the way that fence is situated in there, it doesn't change any views or anything. It's well back off the road, and not by the corner of the streets or anything.
Anybody else have any questions? Comments? Anybody from the public have any questions or comments? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve this variance.
So moved.
Second. One of us.
Was it Frank or Ken that moved first? Ken. Okay, thanks.
And one of us, I don't care.
Either one of them.
Who's the second?
Roy?
Yes?
Dick?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Alan?
Yeah.
Phil?
Yes.
You good, Mr. Snyder?
You're good.
You good? Thank you.
The second one would be for Nicholas Gauck, North Broadway Street Lot, west of Rural King, variance for development standards.
Okay, we have Nicholas Gauck coming before us here in a moment. He is looking to purchase the property that's on the map there in the light blue outline that is just west of Rural King. He has not yet purchased that because he was wanting to find out if he could get a variance on doing a stone parking lot or gravel parking lot, no curbing, instead of doing the asphalt and curbing. So that is what he is here for. I will have him come up and you can ask him questions.
Sarah?
Yes.
If I could, what's that open field?
Yes,
Basically,
correct.
okay.
Yes, just to the west of Rural King. The entrance would be, there is an easement, would be through the Rural King parking lot.
Okay.
So,
Who owns it currently? Is it
It's to,
Broad Capital Group?
Broad Capital, yes. thank you.
And is that, do we know, is that Rural King or is that?
No,
something
they're
else?
out of Harrison, Ohio.
So I guess I will voice an opinion. I don't think you can grant a variance to somebody that doesn't own it.
Even though we have the property owner's signature.
Even with the property owner needs to be the one coming in and asking for it. Property owner needs to be the one seeking the variance. I don't think, so I think you guys can certainly ask Nick the questions, and Nick can get your vote of confidence that if he owns the property and he comes in and asks for it, then you'll give it to him, but I don't think you can grant a variance to somebody that doesn't own the property. Now, was the property owner the one that filed the petition?
He did, but he has the signatures of the property owner. Because I thought we had done that another time with a property on Southeast Street before ownership.
I don't recall doing, I don't think you can do a conditional variance. Like, I would say I'm not legally comfortable telling you to do a conditional variance. And if I did it before, then I may have been wrong, but.
But can they go ahead and ask questions? I mean,
Oh, certainly.
he
Like I
doesn't want
said,
to purchase until he knows.
I think he can certainly ask, I think they can certainly ask questions, and I think they can certainly take a vote of confidence that if he owns it and this is the request that he's going to be making, and you can maybe even table it until he does own it. I just don't think you can grant the variance until he actually has deed to the property.
Well, I don't want to speak for Mr. Gauck, but I think he wants to have a good idea before he purchases it, how this would go, if that makes sense.
Well, and I think he can certainly get that from them
Okay.
with the vote of confidence. I just don't.
Okay, I'm gonna step out of the way then.
Yeah. So, and Mr. Gauck, I'm not trying to step on what you're trying to do. I understand, and I think these folks have questions for you, and I think you'll get an answer as to whether or not you can buy it. I just don't think you can actually get a variance if you don't own it yet.
Okay.
But we could table it.
You could table it, yes.
Okay.
And that would be my recommendation, is you table it until, like, you guys have your discussion. If you want to take a vote of confidence that says, yep, Nick, if you do that, we'll approve it, where we think we'll approve it, and then move to table it, then you know your answer.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Because I wouldn't want to buy something that I didn't know either.
Right.
So, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay.
How many units were you gonna put in there?
For future plans, possibly 400 to 500. That would be 3 to 4 years down the road. But initially, 150 to 200.
And is
The
that what,
reason you would wanna go to gravel is strictly economical?
Yes, financially is a very big difference between asphalt and stone.
it's a very public, I mean, very, like prominent piece of property right there on 3. Is the future plan, so on this drawing where you've got, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structures, is the reason that this isn't up here drawn in, is that future development?
That would be, yes, that would be the last part. If I did develop all of it, that would be the last portion, basically.
This might be a question for Sarah or Chris, I don't know. Like as far as a comprehensive plan, does it make, I mean, is this kind of a use that would be, the city would be promoting or encouraging for development for this area?
What do you think?
I say, I don't know that you have a specific, to my knowledge and recollection, I don't believe there's a specific portion of the comprehensive plan. I mean, it would be properly zoned
Yeah.
for
What
that.
is it zoned now,
B2, I believe, yes.
And that's allowed in B2, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't think you'd have to have any zoning change to put it in there. In terms of the comprehensive plan, I don't think there's anything specific as it relates to this particular type of entity, but I would say the fact that you don't have to change your zoning ordinance or your zoning for it means that it probably fits, at least under the current version of that. And I know there's going to be a more, in the near future, we're going with a more unified comprehensive plan, and we'll be revisiting some of it, but based on the zoning that it currently has, I think it's a business that fits there.
That might be a question for you or Sarah, maybe Sarah too. What's the purpose behind having it be paved? Is it safety or is it just aesthetic, general appearance?
I was gonna say, I don't know that there's I think that's just the way they wrote it.
Yeah, it's very common in a
Storage,
lot of
right? That's what it was for.
towns, into the development standards.
So do we have the development standards now for this? Would it be paved or gravel?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, well, just if that comprehensive plan went coming up and this came to another piece of property somewhere, I can't remember what the standard is now.
Based on our development standards, it needs to have paving and curbing, both.
Surface paving.
Yeah, hard surface paving.
What's the purpose of the curbing? Is that, again, like, is it?
Just,
It's an ordinance.
It's just what the ordinance says. Well,
A lot of these are, ordinances that were developed long before I was here, or Ron was here, and
Sure.
we don't know rhyme or reason, and
So you would be advising us that you don't know You don't, there's no reason for this.
I can't tell you the reason, I don't think Ron can either, and why it's,
I don't,
Sorry.
I don't know the reason, because Sarah and I don't really deal in the world of reason. We deal in what is required of us via statute, so I could speculate it's aesthetics, it's quality of finish, if you will.
I think curbing is more, could maybe be said to be more of a safety thing.
I don't know about that, maybe drainage, you can regulate drainage better with curbing. Y'all probably noticed when we rebuilt the parking lot here at City Hall, we installed a curbing per our ordinance.
Now, my next question is, if and when he develops the second part of this, will he have to come back for another variance for the gravel or the paving then? Or is this variance good for the whole lot anytime he wants to do it?
I would say the variance would run with the property, so it would be for the entire property.
Unless there were conditions placed on the variance,
Unless-
like area or something.
Yeah, unless there was, yes.
Do you have any clue what the price difference is? I know there's gotta be a bunch, but
250,000, give or take, between the two.
Is that for the whole area, Nick, or just the?
For the part I have marked on there as,
What the development is?
yes, I believe I have it as stone driveway labeled, but that, with the ordinance now, that would actually be asphalt, and it's, that would be roughly 250,000.
who would be responsible for the snow removal, et cetera? Is that yours?
Yes, I can.
So the city doesn't get involved in it?
if this was an actual, if we were actually voting on this tonight, would you guys have any problems with putting a condition on it that it be just this area right now? And then if he decides to develop it later, we'd come back and revisit it because prices may change or it may be more economic for him to pave the whole thing then because.
I'd be persuaded by, this part is so much more visible, I mean, from three. I mean,
If we had the chance to grant this or deny it, leave or grant it with the stone as it is now, but if he came back, or when he got to the point where he was developing this front part, he would have to come back, and then we could revisit the paving then, because like I said, he may be in a better position to pave it then.
Yeah,
I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's no problem with that. I think it would be a conditional variance that requires, or the variance would only be a variance from the design standard to allow for a concrete, or for a gravel instead of asphalt for the area specified in this current petition. And that with the understanding, or with the statement that if you want to do additional development down the road, you'd have to ask for another variance for
It's
that.
gonna leave it even more up in the air for him trying to make a decision whether to buy the property.
Well, then if he bought it, just did that, didn't ever do or parceled it off.
But yeah, there's one more factor for him to.
And always remember that there could be a different board sitting here
Yeah.
when you come back, so.
Right.
We can't speak for a different board.
I guess I would be in favor of a project like this in that area. My concern would be, since we have an ordinance that calls for hard surface and curbing, are we gonna set a precedent?
My question there would be, wow, we have a number of these facilities in town that have only gravel driveways. Are we going to then ask them to upgrade their facilities? And I don't know that you want to get into that.
Even if you could, that'd be.
I don't think, right, I agree. I'm just bringing it up.
I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with conditioning it to what he's got on these plans now. And if there comes a time that he's gonna do something with the front part of that property, he comes back and we revisit that then.
What is the front part of that? Is that just grass?
Yes.
Yes. So that, I mean, it's not even right up on the road, it's a little back. But I wouldn't have a problem doing it that way, with that condition. Do you see a problem with that?
No, that would be all right.
Because when you come back, if you ever get to the front part of it, like I said, it may, situation may change, so you may be able to do it then, so. And I know we can't vote on this now, per se, but we can give, would you say a vote of confidence?
Yeah, I think you could move for a vote of confidence on the project.
With that, approving it with that condition.
Or we could even just vote to table it, you can kind of take.
I would say it's probably cleaner if you just move to table it and say, Nick, did you get the information that you feel like you needed to make the decision you want to make?
Yes.
If you've
yes.
got something else, let us know. I mean, we
No,
can.
that answered about everything I have.
Okay. But I would just move to table it,
Okay.
and you would just need to, you'd need to tell Sarah to put you back on the agenda once you own the property.
Okay, all right.
So I will entertain a motion to table this one.
So moved. Call it Phil.
No, it's Roy, I'll second.
Or Roy. There you go.
Thanks
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Okay, the last order of business we have is we have a variance for a Joshua Chase and Paige Chase located at 226 East Central. They are seeking a variance for accessory structure use, which is ordinance 155.001. There is currently no primary residence on this property. There was a home there and it is no longer, it had burned down. So what they're wanting to do is build an apartment above the garage. Floor doors.
Josh Chase.
Paige Chase.
Driving past that, it looks like there's something upstairs in that garage now. I thought there's windows, am I looking at the right building?
Yes, there's windows up there, but it's completely empty loft is what it is.
Looked like there was some damage to the roof on one side.
There is, I've had a roof guy come out, look at it, or gave me an estimate on it and everything.
So, Amber said there was a fire on the primary residence. Is it completely removed?
Yes.
So it's just an empty lot other than the garage?
Correct.
With the loft potentially. Is there a way to call that a primary residence? No, okay.
Is this even allowed by ordinance, Sarah?
I'm sorry?
Is this even allowed by ordinance?
Well, the ordinance states,
The ordinance that Amber was referring to states that no human occupancy in an accessory structure. This is a rather large garage. And there could be a possibility down the road that you may build where the home once was. But this is for your son,
Yeah, this is for him,
yes.
single. He does it later down the road, maybe if he was married, and then he could build, have children, or something like that.
I had a question about parking. What did you plan to do about that? Did you plan to make a driveway from Central Street, or were you planning on parking on the street, or what?
I was just gonna park in the garage.
Oh, on the backside?
Correct.
Okay. The garage enters in from the alley, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Anybody
you have any questions?
I assume if they do rebuild the primary residence, the variance would stay with the, I mean, the loft would still be allowed to have a,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Any other members have any questions or comments? Anybody from the audience have any questions or comments? Yes, sir, would you come up and speak in the microphone, please?
I'm Steve Lloyd. I live right across the alley from the garage. My only concern is parking. It's a through alley and there's not room for parking in the alley.
And you're parking in the alley or in the garage? In that
Oh,
building?
the garage is fine, but the alley.
In the garage.
It's a through alley and the people that were there before had a tendency to park in the alley. And it wasn't too nice, so that's my only concern. Okay. Okay, thank you.
There is also street parking out front.
Anybody else in the audience have anything? I will take a motion to approve this variance.
So moved.
A second.
Roy,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Alan,
Yep.
Phil.
We have anything else? I say we're done.
Thank you.
Did we have to vote on the tabling of the second item?
We do. Okay, on the second one, I will take a motion to table that.
No,
We didn't
you
do,
didn't actually.
we didn't do it.
Yeah.
Who did you take, Joe? Did I make one?
Yeah, we already made the motion, so I just missed it. I made a motion and you second, we have a roll call vote for it.
I got Ken and then Phil.
Yeah. Okay. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passed.
Anything else? I'm missing. Okay, we're good. Thank you all.